Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Easy, beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Hello, MCR. Hello, greetings. Welcome to Rockdale.
Welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre for today's round 4 fixture between Rockdale Ilinden and Central Coast Mariners. Rockdale starting lineups as follows. Number 1, Nicholas Soros. Number 2, Hunter Elliott. Number 4, James Nicolowski. Number 5, Georgie Esperanza. Number 6, Isaac Pinto. Number 7, Alex Urasevsky. Number 9, Naja Moody. Number 10, Brendan Schlarkian. Number 22, Blake Prosciutto. Number 24, Ali Aqua. Vagad Quick. Beach for Rockdale. Number 20, Rowan McBrew. Number 14, Drayton Sword. Number 16, Mike Manchevsky. Number 18, Jordan Verosovsky. Number 17, Ray Evans. Number 23, Oliver Puffett. The Mariners starting lineup is as follows. Adam Pavlovich. Number 2, Luca Stefani. Number 3, Michael Karadari. Number 4, Rocco Smith. Number 5, Ben Hewitt. Number 8, Lucas Sisiluna. Number 11, Jay Rose. Number 13, Logan Sandford. Number 19, Jayak Dappa. Number 21, Lukuga Mopota. Number 39, Arthur Riley. On the bench, number 6, Jordan Small. Number 9, Ahmed Kelly. Number 17, Chris Menka. Number 22, Jumba Corey. Number 23, Lawrence Taylor. Number 40, Joel Wade. Rockdale Ilinden would like to thank all its sponsors for season 2025. Our major sponsor, NPL Transport. Our goal sponsors, PCFC Logistics, Gad Group, Pino Dolce Vita Fine Foods, Simcoe Partners, NPL Customs, Marco Polo Foods, our silver sponsors, Audrey Australia, York Consolidating Group, Cityview Group, Champion Tyres, Russian Scaffolding, B&B Brick Lane, Level 33, Swift Air, Vortex Group, Maya Consulting, Burger Cranes, H2 Wheels, Michi Sushi Restaurant, Bella Transport, Swift Specialist Contracting, Sydney Civil, Superboom, Lane 7 St George, Liquor Stacks Region, Broad Air, Joe's Poultry, Direct Inject, PA Architecture, Kennerstar Rockdale, Zoomway, SCIS Property Group, Zambia Project Group, EMC Civil, Grand Luke and Partners, Sydney White Building Supply, Philadelphia Academy Equipment, at Call, William Roberts Lawyers, Tony Stockdale, at 2025 Club Apparel Partner, Sano, Club Supplies, ABAs, Son of a Baker, KSD Buses and Visco Foods.
Yes, good afternoon indeed, and a very warm welcome it is to a bit of a late change in the afternoon's fixture list. We're here in round 12 in Rockdale, not the Central Coast. For round 12 action, Sunday afternoon football, Rockdale Ilinden taking on the Central Coast Mariners Academy. Pete Pryor with you to take you through all the action as it unfolds. Absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is, wherever it is in the world you may be watching from. As we said, this fixture originally penned down to be at Plume Park in Lisarow on the Central Coast, but with over 100 mils of rain since 10 p.m. last night on the Central Coast of New South Wales, it's a bit of a no-brainer to move this one down to Ilinden Sports Centre. The synthetic surface has held up well to this point, and the Mariners return home after 9 weeks on the road. Well, it never rains, but it pours, quite literally. The team news, of course, is in. So let's take you through it, of course, for the home side this afternoon, Rockdale Ilinden. Just the one change for Panny Nickers's and Paul D's side. Out drops Lachlan Constable. In comes Chris McStay, who I'm sure is celebrating after a 5-star performance from Celtic last night as they prove themselves to be champions again of Scotland. I'll take you through the full starting 11, of course. In goal, ever-present Nicholas Soros. The 2, Hunter Elliott. 4, James Nikolovsky. 5, Giorgio Speranza. 6, Isaac Danzo. 7, Alek Urushevsky. Number 9, Moody Najjar. 10, Brendan Chalakian. 15, Ali Ogla. 22, Blake Rasciuto. And as we said, that man, number 88, of course, Chris McStay. On the bench for Rockdale this evening, reserve goalkeeper Ronan Mulgrew, 14 Braden Sorge, Michael Marchevsky, Bray Ovens, Jordan Grarowski and Oliver Pufflet. For the travelling Central Coast Mariners Academy this afternoon, in goal, of course, Adam Pavlesic. The 2, Luca Pecora. 3, Michael Paragali returns to partner. Number 4, Rocco Smith at the heart of defence. And number 5, Ben Mewett will operate on the left-hand touchline of that back four for the Mariners. Lucas Shikluna returns in the engine room, the number 8. He'll partner Prayag Tapper, the number 19. Jai Rose and Logan Sambrook will provide the width. Maginga and Pota, 21. And number 39, Harper Riles, will lead the line for the Mariners. The whistle blows. And away we go here in Rockdale for Sunday evening football. The Mariners getting us underway. They are, of course, in their traditional yellow and navy strip. Rockdale Ilinden in their traditional reds and black, of course. It's been a tough run of fixtures for the Mariners, of course, as we said, 9 weeks consecutively on the road now. A stint which started brightly enough, a 2-2 draw away to Wollongong, followed up by a 3-0 victory against Sydney United, and then a 1-1 draw with Mount Druitt, but it's been tough going since then. Unable to register a point since that 1-1 draw with Mount Druitt. Could tonight be the night? Well, not if Rockdale have anything to say about it, and they made a pretty strong statement, if I do say so, last weekend. And that's absolutely emphatic 8-1 victory over fellow Academy side Western Sydney Wanderers. It's the Mariners who look to take the opportunity to carry it over halfway on the far touchline. Sambrook is felled. Smith carrying it forward from the heart of defence, fizzing one towards Maginga and Pota. Picked out by Rasciuto. Played back to Soros, who just puts his foot through it and sends it over the far touchline. Oh, there's a tussle in the middle of the park between Tapper and McStay. Free kick going the way of the Central Coast Mariners. Both players had a bit of a handful of each other's shirts. McStay feeling it was certainly 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Mariners just want to get on with it. Perhaps with a little bit too much vigour, though. Pass was intended for Jai Rose, who was hugging this near touchline from Harper Riles. Here is Riles, good strength. Couldn't stick the pass again, though. And now, Uroshevsky has stolen a bit of a march on Paragali here. Paragali's no slouch, though. He's able to regain body position, and, well, a few afters between young Michael Paragali and Alec Uroshevsky. Keep your eye on that one. Paragali hoisting it up into the night sky, or the evening sky here in Rockdale. Speranza has Sandbrook paying him very close attention, looking to link up with Risciuto, and final touch off from Pota. We, of course, had a similar situation back in 2023 where Rockdale was slated to play up on the Central Coast. I think it may have been around 28 or so at the time. I'd have to go back and check my notes, but a similar sort of amount of rain, and Plume Park was unplayable, as were all other venues on the Central Coast. I ended up moving down to Rockdale. Bailey Brantman actually put the Mariners ahead that night, but Alec Uroshevsky scored one of the goals of the season. Spectacular overhead kick, giving Rockdale the win. Of course, he went back-to-back with both Golden Boot and Player of the Year awards for 23 and 24, did Uroshevsky. Few would be surprised to see him have something to say about the result tonight as well. He'll have a big part to play in it. Pavlesic clipping one out to the far touchline, looking for Pecora. Just left it behind momentarily. Mariners wanted the stoppage there, feeling the ball had run out of play. Referee uninterested. They're able to deal with the cross, and Rose looking to break quickly. Riles trying to twist away from the attention of Nikolovsky. Back it will go to Soros, and, well, just about into our vantage position up here in the broadcast area from Nicholas Soros. Shikluna just ran away from him a little bit and allowed Uroshevsky to steal in. That's not who you want taking the ball off your toe. Pass was just too far ahead of Chalakian in the end. Good feet from Jai Rose to skip around Hunter Elliott. Elliott manages to recover. Rose manages to free his feet enough to link up with Pecora, who sets his sights on goal. Didn't quite have his radar calibrated, though. Not on his favoured right foot, in fairness to the Mariners' right fullback. Shouts of encouragement from Lucas Valela. The Mariners get away their first shot in anger here in Rockdale. Encouraging signs, if nothing else. Here's Chalakian, one-on-one with Mewett. Has McStay offering support. First time cross from Chris McStay, straight into the body of Ben Mewett. First corner of the evening for Rockdale. As we said, McStay back into the starting 11 this week at the expense of Lachlan Constable, who's not sighted on the bench either. See if we can bring you any sort of news on that, as the corner will be swung in right on top of Pavlesic, right into the 6-yard box. Nodded clear initially. Ugla is bundled off it. Rockdale wanting a bit more help from the linesperson on this near touch line, which wasn't forthcoming. Hooked back up into the air. Najjar giving chase. Najjar unable to really bring that under his spell. I think we might have just had a bit of a jersey change as well after the lineups came out. My statistician next to me nodding with a bemused grin. Looks like Ali Oglar not wearing the number 15 as he was slated to do. In fact, wearing the number 24 as he was last week in that victory against the Wanderers. His former side, of course, Ali Oglar. And a bit of a case of you didn't want him as he bagged a hat-trick, and he fires this one into the area once again. It's a very good save, smart save down low from Pavlesic. Had to be snappy. As Oglar, who unlocked the defence, able to link up with a teammate, Chalakian. The shot had a decent bit of sting behind it as well, stinging the palms of Adam Pavlesic. And will be the in-swinging corner once again from the far touchline this time. Towards the near post, not a clear as far as Dry Rose. Couldn't complete the clearance. Ben Mewett does so. Here's McStay. Trying to dink one into the half space. Didn't fall for them though, and the Mariners now want to transition quickly. Here's Mewett. Just holds it up momentarily. Now Captain Shikluna. One of those trademark crossfield passes to find Pecora. Doesn't have the beating of Ali Oglar though. Chalakian, Oglar. Speranza. Danzo now. McStay. Chalakian. Good little patterns here emerging from Rockdale. Ali Oglar now shifting inside. Chalakian offering support. One way and the other, and then forced backwards. Chalakian, the Mariners able to get numbers behind it. They'll just reload here through Hunter Elliott. Elliott again. Rashuto now. Shifting it to the left with Speranza. Oglar, something cooking perhaps here for Rockdale towards Ulushevsky. Well, if anyone knows about cooking, it's him, the baker, of course. Turned behind by Pecora. And another corner for Rockdale. That corner count starting to mount up a little bit here. McStay to deliver once again. He'll be hoping that this delivery is a little better than the last. It is towards the near post again. Flicked on and cannons off the outside of the post. I feel it may have taken a touch off maybe Pecora on the way through as well. Rockdale starting to create a bit of mayhem here. McStay again to swing this one in. Deeper this time towards Rashuto at the back post. All too deep though. Well, if you are just joining us here in Rockdale, of course, just shy of 10 minutes gone. Scoreless between Rockdale Ilinden and the Central Coast Mariners so far. Much to pick between the two sides so far, but the Mariners not really having a great time of it, trying to find options in the final third. At the other end, Rockdale have been knocking on the door, certainly. Ali Oglar, though, drawing the ire of the linesman on this near touch line. Found offside. Just going too early, but that is a warning sign, if nothing else, from Rockdale of how quickly they can transition, how quickly they can hurt you. This one, well, the wind certainly got a hold of that one in the air from Adam Pavlesic. Mariners able to retain it. Mewitz and Paragali all the way back to Pavlesic, who's under a little bit of pressure from Urushevsky. Rocco Smith carrying it forward from the heart of defence, as he so often does. Here's Riles, who's just dropped a little deeper. Couldn't stick the pass so Harper Riles. Here's Elliott. Into the half space it goes for Najjar. Moody Najjar bearing down on goal. Across the face it goes. Stays in play as well. They might just get a second chance at it here. Speranza going back and reloading through Risciuto. Giorgio Speranza weaving. Chalakian pulls it back towards Urushevsky! Let him cook! The Baker has done it again. And he simply cannot stop scoring this season, Alek Urushevsky. His 15th goal of the season already. And it's only round 12. As we said, the first player to do the back-to-back player of the year and golden boot double in Football New South Wales NPL history. Well, would you bet against him doing a three-peat? The breakthrough coming in the 11th minute here at Rockdale. Still a long way to go in this one. Launched forward towards Riles in a foot race with Nikolovsky. Nikolovsky winning out. Danzo. Elliott. Urushevsky. Able to link up with Chalakian, who is rather unceremoniously dumped to the deck and has a few words to say after the fact as well. Rockdale just keen to get on with it. Danzo, Elliott, Danzo again. The Mariners at the moment just chasing shadows. Little layoff pass there from Najjar. Elliott bursting forward on this near touch line. Ben Mewitz again touch tight. Once again playing their way into trouble from the goal kick. McStay recovers. Back to Risciuto. Nikolovsky. Elliott again, the Mariners trying to squeeze Rockdale out of it. Elliott eventually, the whistle goes after he has his heels clipped by Try Rose. And again, on with it very quickly. Najjar. Elliott. Nikolovsky. Elliott again. Elliott, of course, was on the score sheet last time these two sides met. Pavlesic was screaming for that one. Paragali wasn't so sure that it was going to make its way through to him. The wind swirling in Rockdale here this evening, causing a bit of confusion there. Elliott looking to swing the cross into the legs of Rose. It goes. Nodded on by Ben Mewett for the Mariners. Taken off the toe of Dry Rose by Chalakian though. Elliott, better delivery this time towards the near post. Was lurking. Over the byline it goes though. Just on Hunter Elliott again, of course, that goal that he scored against the Mariners. It was the fourth in that 4-1 victory, the last meeting between these two sides. It was, in fact, his last goal as well for Rockdale. Paragali. Rose. Mewett's overlapping on this near touch line. Instead, Rose goes inside. Plays the high percentage ball to Shikluna, who's able to open up the pitch effectively. Pecora has Oglar for company. Finding a teammate in Tapa, though. This is better from the Mariners, able to just get their foot on the ball, stroke the ball around, try and push and probe and find an opening here. Curse of the commentator striking, however. Excellent tracking back by Prayag Tapa to win that back right in the middle of the park. Here's Shikluna trying to dance around Dunzo. Well, that's a great challenge. A few afters between Uroshevsky and Shikluna as well. Mariners getting on with it on the near touchline. Harper Riles into the legs of Nikolovsky. Just a throw in. There's a bit of spice and a bit of feeling in this one. Hoisted in by Mewitz. Thrown possession away though, and Oglar, he's onside. It could be Ali Oglar for two. It is. What a finish from Ali Oglar. And we just spoke about how quickly Rockdale can turn defence into attack in the blink of an eye. From one end of the pitch to the other, Ali Oglar makes it two. A hat-trick last week against his former side, the Wanderers, with another two in the Australia Cup midweek for good measure. Well, does Alek Uroshevsky maybe have some company heading towards his way atop the goal-scoring charts? We'll see. Only 16 minutes gone here in Rockdale, and the Mariners with a mountain of work to do. Smith was looking for the diagonal ball out to Sambrook on the far touchline, who's not been as involved as he might like, Logan Sambrook. Well, that's a dangerous ball from Pavlesic. He's got away with it. Mewitz, stolen away though by Elliott. Sliding in was Chalakian. Aaron is able to regather it momentarily at least. Well, Pecora getting a touch on it, getting a toe to it just ahead of Rashuto. Rashuto able to just about turn it into touch though. His teammates asking Ben Mewett to play a little bit higher there. Feeling he's just sitting a little bit too deep. They do love to utilise their fullbacks higher up the pitch. Meanwhile, it's going in towards Dry Rose, who just lost it momentarily and lost his footing. There is Ben Mewett playing much higher. Getting the return pass from Mpota as well. The Mariners wanting a corner. It won't be forthcoming though. It's the first entry into the Rockdale penalty area that I can remember for the first in this opening 18 minutes or so from the Mariners. Well, it certainly looked like the final touch was off the back of a Rockdale player there, but officials see it otherwise. Hunter Elliott's running out of room on this near touchline, and the Mariners will have the throw in the end. Riles, again, decent strength on display initially, but eventually had three Rockdale players for company and couldn't quite retain it. Mpota, Rashuto's got a handful of his shirts, a couple of handfuls of his shirts, and eventually hauled to the deck there, Muginga Mpota. And the Mariners will have a free kick in an interesting sort of position here. Fancy Lucas Shikluna is standing over that one at the moment. He is. He's certainly capable from this sort of range, Shikluna, maybe a little bit further out than he would ideally like. Just two in the Rockdale wall. Shikluna variation on the free kick here. Driven in toward goal by, is that Mewett? No, Pecora, my apologies. Here is Mewett. Crossfield diagonal towards Rocco Smith, who'd stayed wide. Hunter Elliott might just watch this out of play. He does indeed. He was always the favourite there, Elliott. Had body position. Able to win it back from the throw, and the Mariners will retain possession here through Paragali. Clipped forward into the half space where Rose has made a good looking burst forward. He wants to isolate Elliott here. Elliott diving in initially, and Rose back to his feet to win it back. And then twisting and turning out into touch. Mewett will have it back though for the Mariners. Now Rose. Launched in by Mewett again. It's Prayag Tapa on the near touch line. A succession of throw-ins here for the Coast. Riles trying to juggle his way past Hunter Elliott. A good looking sliding challenge that from Prayag Tapa. It's great to see him back in the engine room for the Mariners again this week. He was forced off in the 90th minute of that defeat at the hands of Marconi last weekend. Perhaps just a touch of cramp. Of course, recovering from a series of hamstring injuries, Prayag Tapa. But he is such a robust figure in the centre of the park for the Central Coast. This young academy side, of course. So many players still playing under 17s football. In their national age groups. That is what the academy system, of course, is all about, developing and promoting youth, and the Mariners have been so successful at it over a number of years now. Ben Mewett. Rose stepping inside of Elliott and trying to step away from McStay. He does. Slide rule pass towards Sambrook, who's drifted a little bit more centrally now. Cora keen to get things back on the move. Smith. Pota, who's just dropped off the line. Couldn't quite turn it around the corner. Rocco Smith will have it back for the Mariners and advance over halfway before linking up with Shikluna. Head up, always scanning, always assessing the options, Lucas Shikluna. Jai Rose just turning into trouble. Danzo, good in tight spaces. Hunter Elliott's also in tight spaces there, but running out of room on the near touch line. Shikluna pressed by Chalakian, and well, to great effect, because the pass falls at the feet of Urushevsky, who pulls the trigger. And it left his foot like a tracer bullet. The netting rippling, but into the side netting it went from Alek Urushevsky. He's got one for the afternoon so far. Not far from adding a second. Plenty of action. Of course, a stacked Sunday of football as Chalakian winning the free kick in the middle of the park again. Clear contact in the back of Brendan Chalakian there. Here's Oglar. Trying to force an opening against Pecora. Swinging in the cross towards Urushevsky, and Rocco Smith getting there just ahead of Alec Urushevsky. I fancy he probably had to, because Urushevsky seemingly had body position in front of Michael Paragali. And well, we all know what he can do from that sort of range. As we said, 5 fixtures in total for your Sunday afternoon of NPL football. I'll try and bring you some scores from around the grounds in just a moment as McStay again swings this one right on top of Paragali and onto the top of the crossbar in the end. Urushevsky with a snapshot. Sailing harmlessly over the crossbar. And I did say on top of the head of Paragali. I did, of course, mean on top of the head of Pavlesic. Mind you, Paragali was very deep as well. So I probably could have got away with the misnomer. Earlier this afternoon, of course, the Derby d'Italia at Lambert Park. Appia Leichhardt succumbing to their Italian foes, Marconi, by 2-0. Marconi are absolutely flying this season. As Ali Oglar, once again, just going a fraction of a second early. Flag is up once again on this near touchline. Elsewhere this afternoon, it's London Stadium. Blacktown City, well, what a game this was. Sydney United were ahead at the half by 2-0. Before Major, Campbell and O'Brien stepped up to deliver Blacktown a 3-2 victory. Manly United currently leading Sydney Olympic by 2-1. That one has been shifted to Valentine Sports Park. Wollongong currently 0-0 with Mount Druitt. About 20 or so minutes gone in that one. But, of course, our focus remains firmly here at Ilinden Sports Centre, where Rockdale currently lead the Central Coast Mariners Academy by 2-0. Ali Uglar got the second, and of course Alec Urushevsky, who else, opening the scoring. Paragali launching it towards the edge of the area. Riles rising, falling for Mewett, and Rose has his legs taken away from him as he looked to skip past the challenge of Nikolovsky. And again, another free kick in a fairly interesting sort of position. It will just be just a 2 in the wall for Nicholas Soros, who wants to make sure that he's got it set just so. Something I perhaps didn't expect to see. Lucas Shikluna walking away and leaving the free kick. Dry Rose, very capable, of course, with his delivery, as it does go in towards the back post. Rising at the back post, as well as absolute chaos. And then pulled one back here, the Mariners. Rocco Smith rising at the back post. It cannoned off 2 or 3 Rockdale players. It doesn't matter how you score them. It just matters that they hit the back of the net. And Rocco Smith opens his account for the season. Well, certainly game on here in Rockdale. Here's Najjar. Chalakian. Rockdale wants an immediate response. Danzo. Outstanding defending, I think, from Harper Riles. The striker dropping oh so deep. Hoisted in by Elliott, not a clear by Tapa. Chalakian, well, blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Harper Riles will finish mopping up. Blake Rasciuto should get there ahead of Mpota, he does. Nikolovsky, Rasciuto. As Elliott on the near touchline, who is dumped to the deck by Dry Rose in the air. And Rockdale are none too happy about the contact from Dry Rose there, the perceived contact. Plenty of words being exchanged. It's all getting a little bit heated on this near touchline as well. Alec Goluszewski making his feelings plain and clear to both referee Logan Jones and fourth official Jackson Tippett on this near touchline. Logan Jones did make his way over to have a quick word with his fourth official, who said no further punishment required. Certainly had a very good view of it indeed. Still a few words being said about that. Apologies if any of that language has come across the broadcast. Rose couldn't get it past Rashuto. Ali Uglar's onside. Pavlesic's got a puzzle to figure out. Puts his foot through it and sends it up into the night sky. Danzo will bring it down. Can't juggle their way through the centre of the park though. Tupper nodding it forwards. Into the half space it goes once again for Uroshevsky, who's busy buzzing around everywhere. Trying to pull it back into the area. Straight into the feet of Ben Mewett, but behind for yet another Rockdale corner. Just a moment ago, of course, Rocco Smith halving the deficit for the Mariners. Rockdale certainly since then have tried to go up a gear as this one is swung in towards the back post. Sambrook there rising for the Mariners has done just enough to put his opponents off. Go up a notch here is the cry. And I think in fact it's actually coming from Rocco Smith, the Central Coast Mariners centre half. Do show promising moments, of course. They are such a young side as, again, this stop-start contest continues to play to type. Giorgio Speranza this time, the latest guilty party, drawing the wrath of the man in the middle. Left a little bit short of Mewett there, the pass from Shikluna, allowing Najjar to step in before Shikluna steps in himself to take control of the situation. Pavlesic was under a fair bit of pressure though. Forced to send that one out over the far touchline. Reverse pass, finding Chalakian at the edge of the area, bursting in, pulls the trigger, takes a touch on the way through, which takes a bit of the sting out of it before it reaches Adam Pavlesic. Dry Rose. Mewett wants to link up with Riles. It's fairly comfortable for Nikolovsky to get there ahead of him though. Watched it all the way there, James Nikolovsky. Here's Moody Najjar now. Trying to isolate Ben Mewett, sliding in. Timed it to a plom. And, well, initially the referee had indicated a goal kick, but the linesperson on this near touch line had his flag up. Now, Logan Jones will go over to consult here because the flag looked like he was indicating offside. Instead, the free kick has gone in favour of Rockdale. And in all fairness, Ben Mewett did take a good chunk of the player's legs with him as well. So the flag for the foul, not the offside, of course. Ali Uglar to swing this one in with that wicked left boot. Uglar goes direct. Well, why not? If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. That one just over the bar. Few would begrudge him having an effort from there in the kind of form that he's in, of course. As we said, 3 goals last round against the Wanderers, 2 midweek in Australia Cup action, 1 here tonight as well. How's your touch, Rocco Smith? Brings that down out of the sky and makes it look effortless. Pavlesic, well, not for the first time. Into touch it goes. Samble, Brook again, dropping deep, doing some defending. He's not too happy with the contact after the fact there from Chris McStay. That's perhaps the experience of Chris McStay as well, just getting into the head of the youngster a little bit. It's gone straight up in the air, really. Now it's going to be a tussle between Uglar and Pecora, 2 former Bulls. Uglar launches it back into play from the restart. Mariners able to clear their lines. Harper Riles will send it back over halfway. Just releasing the pressure valve, even if it's only momentarily for the Mariners. Chalakian now, though. Ali Uglar. Rocco Smith across very quickly. Should win the throw-in as well, and does. Well, just about 10 or so minutes to go until the interval here in Rockdale. It's fairly finely poised, of course. Rockdale raced out to that 2-goal lead before the Mariners pulled one back through Rocco Smith. Rockdale, of course, with that solitary goal advantage. As it stands, it's not the first time the Mariners have had to overcome a deficit this season, of course. They were down at Rockdale, or Wollongong, I should say, my apologies, as we were mentioning at the top of the broadcast at the start of that run of away games. They found themselves down by 2 goals before Aok Mo pulled one back before the interval. And then Arthur De Lima scoring with virtually the last touch of the game as it finished 2-2. Rockdale, in all fairness to Wollongong though, Rockdale are a fairly different sort of proposition. Last season's premiers, of course. And with unyielding firepower. One of who, Ali Uglar, applying the press there on Adam Pavlesic, who's able to clear his lines. Harper Riles has his legs taken away from him by James Nikolovsky as he looked to burst over halfway. There's some good experience behind him, of course, James Nikolovsky, in spite of his fairly tender years, just 23 years old. Had some time in the academy at Sydney and at Mount Druitt, at Rockdale as well, and A-League experience with Brisbane Roar. Just halting the Mariners' advance before it even really got going. Speaking of advancing, here's Ali Uglar bearing down on goal again. Ali Uglar! Good save from Adam Pavlesic. Just ran away off the toe of Ali Uglar at the vital moment, but it was almost a carbon copy of his first and Rockdale's second. Dry Rose wants to create some mayhem at the other end, and he'll win a free kick as well. Hunter Elliott going fairly fair and square through the back of the young Mariners winger. And it was a Dry Rose delivery that created enough mayhem for the Mariners to score earlier in the half. Dry Rose is standing over this one once again. Rose to swing this one towards the back post. Rising is Soros with a good fist to it. And then McStay completes the clearance. Launched in towards Sandbrook. Final touch off Speranza, it looks like. Referee just wanting the Mariners to get on with it. They're behind. They are chasing the game, of course, the Central Coast. No time for time wasting. But I fancy they might just like their chances if they can make it back to the sheds with just a single goal deficit at the interval. The score finally poised, as we said, at 2-1. A chance to regroup, reassess. Pecora. Again, Ogla putting Pecora under immense pressure. Late challenge from Mpota. Prosciutto resumes hostilities here. Hunter Elliott. And now Moody Najjar, first time ball into the half space for Chris McStay. Pulled into the box. Cleared as far as Moody Najjar. Back to goal, and Dry Rose able to steal in there and now trying to burst around the outside of Elliott's. Nikolovsky, Prosciutto now. Nikolovsky, sliding challenge to cut out the pass from Dry Rose. Elliott's. Closed down by Shikluna, and then Urashevsky. Well, he's stolen a couple of yards from the throw-in, I fancy that. Right on the threshold of what you might be able to take without being noticed. Here's Danzo. Pass was just left a little bit behind Moody Najjar there. You can sense Rockdale, for the final couple of minutes of this half, have got their tails up a little bit here. 2 minutes of added time signalled by the fourth official. The cry, squeeze them in. The old school Sunday League, box them in. Ben Mewitz eventually hoisting it back in and straight back out. Elliott's. Moody Najjar using the full width of the field here. Skips inside a couple. It's Chalakian bursting into the area. Chalakian! Good save from Pavlesic again. He's tailing in towards the goalkeeper, and maybe one last chance here for the Mariners to get forward. Pecora and Mpota. Good strength, though, from Prosciutto to take it away from Mpota. Meanwhile, Logan Sandbrook takes it away from Prosciutto, and he's just bodied off it. Legally so. Soros might just look to soak up the final remaining seconds of the half here. Long it goes, and I feel the wind may have got behind that one as well. It's gone all the way through to Pavlesic via a couple of players. Both goalkeepers seemingly happy to utilise the full allotment of seconds that are left. A check of the watch from referee Logan Jones, of course, and eventually the signal comes That'll do for the first stanza here at Ilinden Sports Centre. Finally poised this one, as we said. Rockdale raced out to that 2-goal lead courtesy of Alec Gordashevsky and Ali Ugla before Rocco Smith via a gyro's delivery causing a bit of chaos in the box and halving the deficit, pulling it back to 2-1 and leaving this one very finely poised ahead of a big second half coming up here in Rockdale. Don't go away. We'll be back with you in about 15 or so minutes' time.
H2 Wills, Iji Sushi Restaurant, Bella Transport, Rick's Specialist Contracting, Sydney Civil, Supergood, Lane Simmons and George, Labour Stacks, Liquor Stacks Reefy, Broad Air, Charles Cottrey, Direct Eject, BA Architecture, Chemishub Rockdale, Zoomwave, SCOS Property Group, Zapia Produce Group, EMC Civil, Gerard Malouf Partners, Sydney-wide Building Supplies, Riverosky Battery Equipment Warehouse, at Paul, William Roberts Lawyers, Chinese Cocktails, 2025 Apparel Partners, Sano, Club Supplies, AVH, Son of a Baker, KC Partners, Bisco Foods.
Yeah, because they texted me like doing that when I do schools. I haven't done that, so they said to do that. Yeah, so I don't know why. Yeah. I'm just gonna figure that out. It's 2 points.
very warm welcome back indeed, of course, to Rockdale Ilinden Sports Centre as we conclude round 12 of the NPL New South Wales men's competition. Rockdale to resume hostilities for the second stanza here, holding that slender 2-1 advantage over the Central Coast Mariners.
Behind the goal, leave the ground, please.
Goals in the first half too, of course. Alec Urushevsky and Ali Ogla fired Rockdale into that 2-goal lead before Rocco Smith causing a bit of havoc, a bit of mayhem, pulling one back for the visitors, leaving this one finally poised ahead of the second stanza here. And Pota nodding it forward towards Sambrook, cleared by Speranza. Ali Ogla racing forward to try and keep it in. It was just a little too far ahead, I should say, of the Rockdale winger. Urushevsky and Rocco Smith tussling for it. Moody Najjar winning out. And Urushevsky into the channel. Alec Urushevsky! Good save from Pavlesic initially and then cleared off the line at the very last available moment by Mewett. Again, they come here through Chalakian. The near post delivery was really fizzed in at a rate of knots. Pavlesic with a strong paw to it to turn it behind. The first corner arriving here very early in the piece in the second stanza. McStay, as he did in the first half, across to take. Again towards the near post, nodded up into the sky towards the back stick. Ogla was lurking. Rose will get there and affect the clearance. Looking across the ground, it doesn't look like any changes for either side at half time. Try and bring you confirmation on that as soon as possible. Looks like the back four of the Mariners remains the same. Pecora, Smith, Paragali and Mewett. Riles and Mpota still leading the line. Shikluna and Tapa still in the engine room. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pitch, it's Rockdale on the march in towards Urushevsky again. Repelled once again. Chalakian now riding a couple of challenges. Swung in towards, again, Urushevsky. And again, Paragali this time. Forced to turn that behind. Rockdale really looking for a fast start in this second half here. Looking to restore that 2-goal buffer. Again to swing this one in. Pavlesic gets 2 fists to it. Carried out of the 18-yard box eventually. Towards the centre of the park, and Pota couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Nodded down to Nikolovsky. Taken off the tie of Dry Rose. Now McStay, Chalakian raking crossfield ball for Urushevsky. How's your touch? Pretty good, he says. Measuring the cross towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Yeah, Pavlesic had an age to see it and gather it. Prosciutto getting there ahead of Mpota and now Hunter Elliott. Nikolovsky, Prosciutto, Speranza now. Near touchline is Urushevsky. McStay in the half space. Back to goal now, McStay awaiting the supporting cast. Well, he doesn't use them. In fact, he just goes around the outside of Shikluna, swings the cross in. Yet another Rockdale Ilinden corner. Rocco Smith getting to the cross first. He could only really nod it behind. McStay again to swing this one in. Near post delivery again. Pavlesic gets 2 fists to it. Rockdale wants a corner. Just a goal kick at the end of it, and a bit of concern here for the welfare of a Rockdale player at the near post. I think that may have been Nikolovsky. It was indeed. Big timber forward from the back, wearing the scars of war for his sins. Buck up and about without any real sort of fuss or ado, and on we go. Nikolovsky rising immediately back into the action. Danzo, Elliott. Speranza. Side to side, trying to stretch the Mariners here is Ugla. Speranza with the underlapping run. Sambrook stayed touch tight. He's able to find Chalakian though. Chalakian rides a couple of challenges and eventually is bundled off it. Illegally so. And a free kick in an absolutely tantalising sort of position here. Chalakian and a couple of others feeling that perhaps there could have been a bit more punishment. Free kick is taken quickly, mind you. Catching the Mariners' back line, the referee, and, well, even yours truly a bit by surprise. Logan Jones just calls it back. Adam Pavlesic will continue building this wall here, which he will need to ensure is set just so. No shortage of contenders to take. The angle might favour the right foot of Chris McStay here. Woluszewski is walking away from it. Ali Ugla is still standing over it. Will it be Ugla? Will it be Chris McStay? It's McStay. It's under the wall. It's saved initially. Cleared outside the 18-yard box, but only as far as Chris McStay. And then Najjar able to free his feet enough to get a shot away and just rifles one into the side netting. Well, the opening exchanges in this second half so far have been all Rockdale. Rasciuto stepping forward to get there ahead of Mpota. They'll have the free kick as well. A challenge on Chalakian. Woluszewski gets it moving quickly. Rudy Najjar, my apologies, not Chalakian. It's taken off the toe of Najjar though. I'll get the chance to go again. Dinked in behind by McStay and then fizzed in towards the near post. Najjar was arriving. Once again, the Mariners able to repel, and they want to break quickly through Harper Riles and then Mpota. And a crucial intervention from Giorgio Speranza. Tucking in to halt the advance of Maginga Mpota. Shows no signs of slowing down, of course. Giorgio Speranza, just about to turn 34 years old. Turning on the afterburners there to get ahead of Mpota. Meanwhile, it's Mewett on the other touch line. His opposite left back, who's unable to make any real sort of headway. Here is Speranza. He'll get the return pass as well. Giorgio Speranza. Pecora stepping forward to hold his advance in turn. Over the top it goes towards Oglar. Rocco Smith rising. Continued on by Pecora. Straight back at them it comes via Chalakian before Prayo Tapa is just tugged down by Moody Najar. Paragali, one of those back from A-League action this week. Unable to stick the pass though, Michael Paragali, telegraphed by Rashuto. Stayed forward as well, Ali Oglar now. Danzo just tucking into cover for Rashuto temporarily. Checks over his shoulder and Rashuto is back in position. To the right it goes now. Weaving and twisting and turning on the edge of the area. McStay now. Driven towards goal. They want a handball. They want a penalty, and a penalty they will receive. A golden opportunity here for Rockdale to restore their 2-goal advantage. Hunter Elliott was the one initially twisting and turning and causing a bit of chaos on the box. Danzo threaded it through. The shot came in and into the arm of Michael Paragali, who may feel a little unlucky there. Well, perhaps ironic suggestions from the crowd as to a potential red card for Michael Paragali. I don't think that will be forthcoming from referee Logan Jones. That's Alec Urushevsky with a chance for his second of the evening. Rockdale's third and his 16th goal of the season, mind you. Urushevsky v. Pavlesic. Never any doubts. Alec Urushevsky restores that 2-goal buffer for Rockdale. Blasted down the middle from Rockdale's all-time leading goal scorer. And Rockdale at a third. They've been absolutely hammering on the door in the opening exchanges of this second half. He's cool as ice from the spot is Alec Urushevsky. This has prompted Lucas Valela into a triple change here for the Mariners. Off come Tapa and Pota. I'll bring you confirmation on that third. Meanwhile, Jesse Mantell, Ahmed El Halou and Jordan Small will all enter the fray. Paragali fired forward towards Riles. El Halou able to get a foot in. Mewitz. I fancy that other change. May have been Dry Rose off. A couple of like-for-like swaps there. Jesse Mantell, you would suspect, will operate on the left flank, vacated by Rose. Strong challenge from Speranza, but Sambrook able to steal in. Only momentarily, though. That handball going against Brendan Chalakian this time. Here is Mantell looking for the overlapping run of Mewitz. Hunter Elliott stepping in though. Here's Najar. This time, Ben Mewis winning out. Only momentarily, though. Well, straight behind for a goal kick in the end. Pani Nikas and Paul D yet to go to their bench. Plenty of options to choose from, including, of course, Bray Ovens, who's been red hot of late. Mantell losing out in the physical tussle between he and Hunter Elliott. Prosciutto. Rockdale just inviting the press of the Mariners here and looking to play through it. Danzo. Smartly nipped in though. Shikluna now for the Mariners. Shifting onto his left and finding a wide option in the form of Mantell. Swung in once again towards Sambrook, and Nikolasaurus gets two very good fists to it. But the spin on the ball was wicked enough to take it behind for a Mariners corner. A rare Mariners corner, it must be said. It was a set piece in the first half where they were able to pull one back, of course. The wicked delivery from Jai Rose doing the damage at the time. This time, Lucas Shikluna will make his way across to take. Swung towards the penalty spot, pops out as far as Mantell. It'll come back towards Shikluna. McStay will watch it all away, and excellent use of the body from Chris McStay. Shooter. Pass picked out smartly by Sambrook, but Speranza atones for his sins, and a nice little flick that from Oglar. Chalakian and Lulushevsky combine. Ricochet off the body of Smith, nearly falls very kindly indeed for Ali Oglar. A good sliding challenge though from Sambrook to diffuse things, if only momentarily. McStay, Chalakian, Speranza, and then turned into touch by Jordan Small. McStay, Danzo McStay again. And then Rockdale just trying to utilise the full width of the pitch a little bit too much. Speranza was hugging this near touch line. A little bit too much for Rockdale's liking. Pecora with some dancing feet to try and fashion some space. Had his heels clipped on the way through. Jordan Small showing off his excellent range of passing indeed to find Mantell and then Mewit. Sliding challenge, well, final touch in fact was off Ben Mewit. The changes, if nothing else, from Lucas Villela just after that third goal, it seemingly injected at least a little bit more energy into this Mariners side. As we said, the opening exchanges of the half is this one. Comes out to the near touch line for Ali Oglar, and he was offside again. As we said, the opening exchanges were all Rockdale's way. They had all the running. While the Mariners may have a fresh injection of energy, they're still finding it difficult to find any real sort of pockets of space and break down this well-drilled, well-organised Rockdale defence. These two banks set up so well. And Jesse Mantell penalised just on halfway. Physio is being waved on. It was definitely a very heavy sort of landing from Nikolovsky. replay on the monitors here, yeah. Just the coming together between the two players. Nikolovsky, well, he may have been favoured for the aerial duel between he and Jesse Mantell. Definitely has the size advantage, standing just over 6 foot tall, James Nikolovsky. But of course, anything can happen in those sort of aerial battles. Especially when you land as hard as he did. And he seems to be holding that shoulder a little bit, just feeling it out, stretching it out. As we said, he came down pretty hard. Rockdale will be down to 10 temporarily. Nikolovsky forced to leave the field after receiving treatment. Awaiting to be invited back on. Still awaiting is Nikolovsky. Still awaiting. Logan Jones telling him to hold off, and now does invite James Nikolovsky back onto the field of play. Rockdale maintaining possession the entire time, and they return to their full complement of 11 as Chalakian swings one towards Uroshevsky. Cleared by Smith. Rising is Shikluna, and rising in turn is Nikolovsky. Here's Uroshevsky though, able to dig it out, looking for the return pass as well. Well defended from Sambrook. Again, they're just hemmed into their own half here, though, the Mariners. Swung out towards Oglar. He's done well to keep it in the field of play. It allowed Pecora to step in, though, and get a bit tighter to him. Inventive that between Oglar and Danzo, though. Fantastic ingenuity shown. And Oglar is brought down just on the edge of the area. Referee says nothing doing. Hunter Elliott with plenty of time to get his head up and assess the options. Plays square to Danzo. Risciuto now. Speranza. And again, Oglar hugging this touchline. And again, Oglar linking up with Chalakian. Something building here, perhaps, for Rockdale. It's McStay and Speranza. And now Speranza again via Oglar. McStay, Danzo. They know each other's patterns so well. Chalakian, well, stealing in there very smartly indeed. Was Lucas Shikluna. He drops to his haunches momentarily. He's got through a mountain of work this evening, the Mariners skipper, as he so often does. Risciuto getting there just ahead of El Hello. Hunter Elliott's just flicking a boot at it. Lost it momentarily in the night sky. Mantell can't quite bring it under his spell. Rockdale with another chance to get forward via Najjar. Well defended by Mewett. Now the Mariners want to return serve via Sambrook. Look who's tracking back there is Brendan Chalakian. Tracking back with perhaps a little bit too eagerness. Bringing Sambrook down, but that's experience for you. If you're going to give away the foul, it's not a bad area to give it away and halt a potential counter-attack. Shikluna showing off that range of passing now. Mewett driving forward, Mewett, and has his legs taken away from him. Hunter Elliott is not thrilled about the decision. I think it was Moody Najjar who actually took away the legs of Ben Mewett there. Rockdale's number 9 tracking back and not shirking his defensive duty, but it's conceded a set piece in a similar sort of area to where Dry Rose was able to whip one in the first half and pull one back for the Mariners. The Mariners are readying another change in the background. I can tell you Lawrence Taylor is being stripped and ready for action. happy to be able to welcome him back after serving his suspension for that red card at this venue against Sydney FC a couple of weeks ago. But our focus is on this free kick from Lucas Shikluna as it swung in towards the back stick. A couple rising. Final touch, I think, is for a Shuto. He was one of those rising alongside Nikolovsky. Nikolovsky, in fact, receives the plaudits. So behind it goes for another Mariners set piece. Shikluna again across the tank. Jesse Mantell across quickly to offer the short option. Waved away. Shikluna to swing it away from goal towards the penalty spot. And again, it's ricocheting around everywhere. El Hello was rising, as was Paragali. And now it's Rockdale's turn to transition rapidly. Moody Najjar, well, in a foot race with Ben Mewett, and it speaks volumes to the engine of Ben Mewett as well, able to get there just ahead of Moody Najjar. And the Mariners will now use that opportunity to make that change. Lawrence Taylor returning to action tonight, as we said. Big raps on this young kid. Central midfielder by trade. He will replace Harper Riles, who, much like he did last week against Marconi, has toiled hard. You may see a bit of a reshuffle in the pack as a result of that change. I fancy Logan Sambrook may play in a more advanced central role following the departure of Harper Riles. We'll see how the Mariners sets up. Here is the aforementioned Sambrook. Ball came out, giving Lawrence Taylor something to chase. There's a few Mariners questioning why the advantage wasn't given, but the yellow card was brandished in the end. It was a very late challenge indeed. I think it was Chris McStay who earned the yellow card. It was indeed. On that yellow card, and now Rocco Smith looking to play one into the half space for Pecora, who'll do well to keep this in. He has done well. Done even better to find a teammate there, you know. Sambrook arriving on the edge of the 6-yard box. But for an excellent piece of defending once again from Nikolovsky, the Mariners could have been right back in this one. Still about 18 or so minutes to go of regulation time here at Rockdale. There's never a ball boy around when you need one, is there? Eventually the ball is sent forwards. It's a fair way away from Lucas Shikluna. A couple of balls behind the goals there that weren't presented to Lucas Shikluna either. Ball boys are now being sent around to recollect, but Shikluna, meantime, floating this one very deep, swinging away from goal. Sambrook, and now Mantell. Now Pecora, winding up Pecora! Sailing wide of Nicholas Soris's right hand upright. Looked fairly confident that he had his angles correct. Just the one goal for the season so far from Luca Pecora. Here he is. Again, actually, in fact, that's Lawrence Taylor, my apologies. On this near touch line. Tight tussle with Speranza, who wins out and finds Chalakian. And releases one between a couple of defenders for Moody Najjar. Ben Mewett again, first on scene. It's an outstanding bit of defending from the Mariners fullback, in fact. Moody Najjar, a fantastic technician. Of course, Rockdale thought they had their man for the 2024 season. Former A-League player with Melbourne City and MacArthur as well. He ended up playing 2024 in the K2 League over in Korea with Hwaseong. Finally got their man for 2025. He's been a handful and a half tonight, that's for certain. But it's on the Mariners on the attack now again through Pecora. Now Taylor. They are absolutely howling for a handball against Blake Rasciuto, and we will go to the spot for the second time this evening. Much as we did just after the interval here. Referee Logan Jones, and he's got a bit of sorting out to do here as well. Lions person on this near touchline is coming across to consult. It was great work from Pecora and Lawrence Taylor as well. And he's waved it away. Just a corner at the end of it. Lions person on this near touchline overruling the referee's decision. And we won't go to the spot after all, just a corner. Blake Rasciuto, well, in all fairness, it did look like the arms were tucked in very close to the body. Who'd be a referee, hey? Now, much more sorting out to do here for Logan Jones, having to play headmaster. You, and you over here now. Nikolovsky and I think Jordan Small have been summoned to the principal's office. Just a ticking off from the man in the middle. And we will eventually restart with Lucas Shikluna once again standing over this corner. Swung away once again towards the penalty spot. Rising was Paragali. Lawrence Taylor will recover it. Now Mewitz. Now Taylor slaloming, clipping one in. Rocco Smith, who'd stayed forward, didn't quite reach him though. Left a little bit short of Shikluna, who's able to give it a big up and under, and it's bounced over the head awfully awkwardly of Nikolovsky. Soros rising to claim in the end. It's all a bit frenetic, it's all a bit chaotic out there at times. You wouldn't have it any other way. Burushevsky again clipping one forward into the channel. Smith saw it all the way and played back to Pavlesic. Ben Mewitt's able to advance just over halfway. Well, he's forced back now. Now Rockdale players want the ball to go into touch as Ali Ogla has dropped to the deck in back play. And that will give Rockdale the chance to go to the bench for the first time this evening. Braden Sorge is stripped and readied for action as Ali Ogla continues to receive some treatment here. Gives some of the Mariners players as well a bit of a chance to come over and get a drink and get some further instructions from Lucas Villela and co. As we await to see the fourth officials board here to confirm this change, or these changes potentially even, for Rockdale. Can tell you with absolute certainty that yes, Braden Sorge is coming on. It will be Ali Ogla to depart, a bridge too far to continue. Scored the second, of course. With a delicious, deft dink over the top of Adam Pavlesic. Continuing his rich vein of goal-scoring form. Receives a very warm reception indeed from the Rockdale faithful, as well he might. 6 goals in his last 3 games, including that Australia Cup double midweek. And the hat-trick against his former employers in the Wanderers last weekend. Braden Sorge on in place of him, and Bray Ovens also will enter the field of play Another one who's in absolutely red-hot form at the moment, Ovens, replacing Moody Najjar. Ovens applying the press, and it just runs away from both he and Rocco Smith. Ovens will get there first, clipped in towards Udalshevsky. Pavlesic smartly plunging on it. Quick release as well from Pavlesic to link up with Mewett. Bouncing off a couple of challenges in the centre of the park here is Shikluna, who is eventually scythed down. Much to the chagrin of those in red and black, and yellow card at the end of it as well, which I fancy may have been maybe not for the initial challenge from Hunter Elliott, but perhaps for the dissent shown afterwards. You may be able to hear what some of the Rockdale technical staff think about the decision, but you do put yourself at risk when you lunge in like that as well. Here is Shikluna bursting through the challenge of McStay. Now Mewett looking to isolate Braden Sorge. Braden Sorge, well, all his experience telling. Not diving in. Continues his trend of cameo appearances, Braden Sorge. 5th match in a row in the NPL, but he's come off the bench. Such a consistent and reliable performer, but he's conceded the corner here. To swing this one in this time, straight into the arms of Nicholas Soros. Rises above a sea of yellow and navy to pluck that one out of the night sky here in Rockdale. Sorge feeling the contact in the back. Pretty easy decision that for Logan Jones. Ahmed El-Helu over eager to try and win the ball back for his side. On we go. Danzo linking up with Sorge. Shalakian. Couldn't quite bring it under his spell though, and the Mariners with a chance to get out of their own half. On we go after Shikluna is brought down in the middle of the park. It's Lawrence Taylor. Able to go past one initially and then has to go past him again. It's Speranza who takes away the legs of Lawrence Taylor. As Lawrence Taylor looked to go around Speranza for a second time. I did say big raps on this young man, Lawrence Taylor, as well. Speaking to, I won't name the club or the statistician, technical member of staff, but some of the numbers that he's been putting out apparently are nothing short of outstanding. Shikluna tailing away from goal this one. Rashuto rising only as far as Mantell. He looked to drive one towards goal with the outside of his boot. Took a touch on the way through though. So another Mariners corner. Now that's Mariners corner counts. Mounting up Shikluna. Well, not his finest delivery that time. Hangs his head momentarily and quickly back to position there, Lucas Shikluna. Offers a hand of apology to his teammates and coaching staff. Usually so unerring with his delivery, Lucas Shikluna. That one quite uncharacteristic from the Mariners captain. Ovens getting there ahead of Lawrence Taylor. Sorge able to nod it back to Nikolovsky, who, well, put some snow on that one. Again, held up drastically in the wind. Now Chalakian driving forward on this near touch line. Still Brendan Chalakian. Has Taylor isolated and now has McStay in support. Little triangles forming very nicely there with McStay, Ovens and Chalakian. Here is the aforementioned McStay. Danzo. Chalakian looking to turn around the challenge of Pecora and does oh so well. Good use of the body as well. Has Ovens supporting. First time delivery from Ovens. Swinging away from goal. Urashevsky will give chase. Does well to keep it in the field of play as well. Braden Sorge looking to play one between the lines there for Urashevsky, but it's all too far ahead of Rockdale's talisman. Rockdale able to go to their bench once more. Jordan Grarowski is being introduced at the expense of Hunter Elliott.
Number 18, Jordan Grarowski.
They've still got Michael Marchevsky and Oliver Pufflet on the bench as well. Rocco Smith carrying it forward and then seemingly just losing his bearings with the pass. Urashevsky now has stolen a bit of a march on Pecora. Pecora recovers excellently well. And now Mansell overlapping once again is Ben Mewett. Small. Couldn't quite stick the pass. Urashevsky, I think, knew he was offside as the ball came out to him. Two goals for the evening for Alec Urashevsky, of course, still searching for that hat-trick. Risciuto there ahead of Logan Sambrook. Into touch it goes. Perhaps a bit of gamesmanship between the ball person and Luca Pecora taking the throw-in on this near-touch line. Ahmed El Helou, well, just dragged back Bray Ovens there, and referee are waiting to see how it did play out. End result, just a Rockdale free kick. Risciuto in no real sort of hurry to take. As we tick towards the final couple of minutes of the regulation 90 here in Rockdale. McStay, Shikluna is touched tight. McStay, well, how well's he done there to retain possession and fashion the pass. Taken off the toe, though, by Jesse Mantell. The Mariners look to mount a quick counter. Again, Rockdale so quick to get numbers behind the ball. Trying to switch the points of attack out towards Taylor. Speranza rises. Bray Ovens dropping in. And now Chalakian, one-on-one with Jordan Small. Bounces off a couple of challenges. So strong is Brendan Chalakian. He's conceded the throw, though. Still plenty of feeling left in this one, as there has been throughout the entire contest. Rocco Smith's pass, however, is just found wanting. We can bring you some updates from around the grounds as well. If you don't want spoilers, block your ears. Of course, Wollongong currently 1-1 with Mount Druitt in the 78th minute. Between Sydney Olympic and Manly United, Manly lead by 3-2 with about 4 minutes of regulation to play there. As we tick into the final few seconds of the regulation 90 here in Rockdale. Just waiting to see how many minutes of added time we may have. We've had a couple of small stoppages. Nikolovsky requiring, I should say, a bit of treatment earlier in the half, and Ali Uglar as well. As well as a penalty that was and a penalty that wasn't. Here's Bray Ovens skipping inside of both Pecora and Lawrence Taylor, but taken off his toe ever so well by Shikluna, who has just not stopped this evening. Neither has Pecora, but he's stopped there by a good piece of defending indeed from Blake Rasciuto. 3 minutes of time to be added on as the board goes up here.
Fourth official has indicated there will be 3 minutes of injury time to be played.
Raking crossfield pass from Rocco Smith is just too far ahead of Ben Mewett this time. Rockdale, of course, looking to close the gap on Marconi, who maintained their undefeated start to the season with that 2-0 win over Appia earlier today. This would close the gap, of course, to 6 points. Sambrook, meanwhile, El Helu, flag is up. Certainly have to feel at this point in time. Just 2 minutes to go. Of the added 3, that's anything now would be a mere consolation for the Central Coast Mariners, who again have toiled hard all across the pitch. Nothing to show for their, no fruits to show for their labour, I should say. Here's El Helu, decent looking first touch, bounces off the challenge of Nikolovsky, but cleared eventually by Speranza, only as far as Sambrook, who is taken down as he tries to really bustle his way through into the area. And a late free kick here with about 80 seconds or so of added time remaining right on the edge of the area. Shikluna is one of those making his way across, interested in the set piece. Luka Pecora has also made his way forward as well. He's had a couple of shots in anger tonight, has Pecora. Paragali also made his way across as well. Quickly makes his way into the area, realising his role as a target man. Shikluna leaves it. It will be Pecora to take, and interesting to see whether he tails this one away or opts for the more direct route. Shouts coming out from the Rockdale bench towards the wall of don't jump. Pecora clipped in towards the back post, and Soros had a long time to see it. It had the whip and the dip and the up and down, but not quite the right angle, I suppose, for the right footer to really test a gloveman of Nicholas Soros's expertise and calibre. And that indeed will be that here at Ilinden Sports Centre. A thoroughly professional performance from the hosts this evening. It was Alek Goroshevsky who put them ahead. Who else, of course? Opening the scoring, they raced out to a 2-goal lead thanks to Ali Oglar and his deft dink over the top of Adam Pavlesic. The Mariners pulled one back through Rocco Smith. But Rockdale came out of the blocks absolutely champing at the bit in the second half and added their third and effectively killing the game off from the penalty spots, courtesy of that man, again, Alek Urushevsky, who extends his advantage atop the league's goal-scoring charts. Rockdale closed the gap on Marconi to 6. The Mariners still going in search of just that second win of the season. Mariners are away to St George City FA next weekend at Penshurst Park, on Saturday. That one at 7:15 p.m. As for Rockdale, on the 4th of May, they will play host to Sydney Olympic in the next rounds of the NPL New South Wales men's action. That's a wrap from all of us here at Rockdale Ilinden Sports Centre. Absolute pleasure having your company again this evening for round 12 action. But for myself, Pete Pryor, it's bye for now.